This is the fifth video in the How to Apply to Penn State video series on the Speaking of Fairview YouTube video channel. This video is about the SRAR, or the Self-Reported Academic Record. This can be used for all colleges, but it's specific to Penn State in this video.
So the SRAR requires you to enter your transcript exactly how you see it in front of you, correct?
Yes.
All right, so should I continue to complete SRAR, or should I skip that for right now, or what do you want me to do?
I think it's entirely up to you. I think it's helpful, actually, if you have the time to just do a couple of quick examples there to share with students.
Of course, I can do that. I will not complete all 4 years because that is tedious, but I will submit a few things. So, welcome to the Self-Reported Academic Record.
So if we can go back up for just a minute, Izzy, that first question is an interesting one. So we use an outside company to that has developed the software for the self-reported academic record. They also work with other institutions. So if you have applied to more than one school using this particular software, if you log in, let's say you've completed a self-reported academic record for XYZ University, you can log into an existing SRAR account using the same email address, and it should pull it in for you. So there are other peer institutions using the same form. It may actually save you some time. Not always, certainly, or maybe Penn State's the first school that you've applied to, but just kind of keep in mind that's why they're asking for that information. And it does have to be, if you had used a different email address, then this is where you would log in. If you're using the same email address consistently for your various applications, it should bring it in automatically.
Okay, so I have an existing SRAR, but if I wanted to create a new one, where would I go to do that?
Okay, you're going to go down below here and you'll indicate begin.
Awesome. And here you're going to confirm your graduation date. So again, that's when you graduate high school. And then the dates of attendance of Fairview High School. So again, you're going to type in that August of 2017. This is for current seniors. Oh, whoops, I forgot to hit save. August of 2017, and then click OK. And then until June of 2021. And you're going to click OK here as well. And then Fairview High School does letter grades. So we're going to click letter grades here. And most of my courses at this school are. So this is a question that I think a lot of kids have. So at Fairview, we do like semesters of classes. So like one semester you take 4 classes, and the next semester you take another 4 classes, and they're totally different. So do you click full year? Do you click semester?
You'll use block. So this is what Fairview offers, is what we refer to as a block schedule. So if you want to go back to that drop-down listing, that's great. So you'll see block scheduled up to 2 terms, which would, Mrs. Jensen, I think you'll agree with me, would be how we would describe a block at Fairview, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
this is a big question for lots of students.
It is. So it would be a block schedule up to 2 terms.
Okay, so I will click on that. So that's really helpful because I had this question as well, and I know a lot of my peers did, so that's good to know. So block schedule up to 2 terms. So then I'm going to click enter coursework, unless you have to add another school if you attended 2 high schools. But right now we're going to pretend that I've attended Fairview High School all 4 years. So I'm going to enter coursework.
What happens if they select the wrong type of coursework? What if they selected semester?
I think when we get further along here, I don't know that it would be a big issue. I think the more important point is when we get further into entering coursework to make sure we're listing it correctly there.
Okay.
Okay, so just it's really important to make sure you have the correct grade that you got for each class.
Right.
Okay, wonderful. So that's why it's really helpful to have your transcript next to you while you complete this process. So here you scroll down and you're going to click enter coursework for the 2017-2018 year, which would be the senior's freshman year. So I'm going to click.
I actually suggest let's go back up and look at GPA and class rank first, because this is
Oh,
information that you'll need to provide.
okay. So I will click on that first. My bad.
Great. Terrific. So what we're going to look at is your cumulative weighted GPA at the end of your junior year.
Okay, cumulative weighted GPA at the end of my junior year. So I'm going to click on. Oh, it's a weighted GPA. So I'm going to do a 4.25.
And that information is on your transcript.
Yeah, it's on the bottom right, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then cumulative unweighted GPA, and this one's out of a 4.0. So this one is going to be
Great.
okay. And then
if I'm correct, Fairview does not provide a class rank or a class size. So you'll want to click that button underneath that says this school does not calculate or report a weighted class rank. And then down below where you see this school does not calculate, there you go.
okay.
Yeah.
And this school does not provide rank information or I do not know it. So okay, perfect. And then I click continue.
Continue, correct.
Okay, and then that should appear right as I typed it in.
Exactly.
Okay, and then I'm going to enter my coursework for freshman year. So I click this little green button right here.
Before we move forward, Izzy, there was a middle school option there. I want to talk about that for just a minute. So if you are a student who took any high school coursework while you were in middle school, and it shows up on your high school transcript. So for instance, if you took Algebra 1 when you were in 8th grade, you would want to click on that middle school indicator and list Algebra 1 as having been completed in middle school. And it's important because that will count your math credit moving forward. So you have to have 3 units of academic math drawn from Algebra 1, Algebra 2, or geometry for any baccalaureate degree program at Penn State. If you are interested in a STEM or a business field at Penn State, it will also require half a unit of trigonometry. So we want to make sure that we have all of your math courses indicated so that the computer counts them correctly. If you don't list that as one of your middle school courses and we see Algebra 2, logic would tell you you took Algebra 1, but that's not the way the computer counts. So we want to make sure that we have that information. And many students will not have anything in the middle school section. If you didn't take a high school course, that's fine. But for those who did, I think that's an important point to just make as we go through this process.
Yes, I definitely agree. Okay. So middle school, if you took one, but if not, you go into your freshman year and then you should see this. So I think for Fairview, I have not received an annual GPA for this academic year because it's just a cumulative GPA. Is that right, Ms. Johnson?
Correct. That is correct.
Okay. And my courses were taken in 9th grade. And this drop down, can you see this drop down?
We can.
Okay. So courses were taken in 9th grade. And then you're going to go down to add new coursework. And then the subject area is, let's start with an English class. You're going to click English. The generic course title is English 9. The exact course title will appear on the transcript, but I think my fake account took English 9 honors. And then the course level, I would select, since I took the honors class, I would select honors. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and then it's block scheduled up to 2 terms. That's already put in here, but just double check that. And then the first block term is, I think I got.
So Mrs. Grimm, can I ask about the grades? Because this comes up. We do not at Fairview assign pluses or minuses. So do students, if it were an A, they just put in an A. Is that correct?
List an A, correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna say I got an A for the first block, and then the second block I also got.
Actually, this is a point I want to look at in a little more carefully. So,
Okay.
typically, with a course that's offered in a 2 block section, you would only take it for 1 block. So, if you know that you took the first block, then you'll list it there. If you know you took it second block, you'll list it there. But the transcript doesn't indicate which block you took it, so it really doesn't make any difference. But in this situation, you're only going to list 1 block. Now, this is where we need to be a little bit careful in that it preloads half a credit. You actually, in that first block, will have earned 1 credit for this course, so you'll need to change that.
Okay, so if I took it, so I took English 9 honors first semester, so I'm gonna put it in first block. I got an A, and I like completed the course, so I got 1 whole credit because each class is 1 credit, right?
Yes.
And then Mrs. Jensen, if I took the innovation and gym, that's like 2 half credits. What do I do there?
Actually, Izzy, let's go and let's do an example of that. So save this course because I think that's a really great question that you've posed.
All right, so that course is now saved up here and currently entered coursework. We have English 9 honors. Okay, so then we're gonna go, and the subject is gonna be gym. Would it be physical education and gym?
I like that. Yep.
Okay, and then the generic course title is physical education, and then the course name, I'm not 100% sure what the course name is. I think it's
It's a Wellness 9.
Wellness 9 / innovation.
If it's Wellness 9 innovation, do they put both of this in, Mrs. Grimm, or do we list innovation as a separate class because it's a half credit? Or do we? So they're grouped together in 1 semester, but they get a half credit for Wellness 9 and a half credit for innovation.
Do they earn separate grades for the 2 courses?
No.
Okay, so I would list it all as 1 course. However it appears on the transcript is how you should list it here.
Okay, so it'd be Wellness 9 / innovation. Okay. And I know we have 2 classes like that. Like we have economics and government and this class, so that's good to know for both of these. And then the course level is just a college prep, or is it just a regular?
You can list it as a standard course down at the bottom.
Okay. I know at Fairview they call it college prep, but just standard. Okay, wonderful.
Great.
And then the first block term I got.
Is this course taken in a full block or is it taken in a semester?
So
it's a semester course.
Sorry.
Okay, so here's an example of a place where we're going to change this. So it actually won't be block scheduled. It would actually, you'll change it on the drop down to a semester.
Okay. So change this to semester. And then first I got an A, but it's only 1 semester.
I would only list 1 semester. So it's going to be very rare that you put in 2 semesters. You're going to list 1 semester. How many credits are awarded for the Wellness 9 innovation course?
1, but I believe on our transcript it lists them separately with a half credit but 1 grade.
Okay, so if it's listed separately, then I probably would go in and I would change this, and I would do Wellness 9. So take the innovation piece out, and then leave it as semester, and leave it as half a credit.
Okay.
And then save the course. And then I would go in and do a separate listing for the innovation portion of that.
So this would be like another subject area.
Absolutely.
And
I would list it as other.
Yeah, okay. And then okay, and then the course, like
Go to standard on that as well.
The course level is standard, so that's at the bottom of the drop down. And this is, again, a semester instead.
Uh-huh.
And then the first semester, I got an A as well in innovation, and it was 0.5 credits. So I will save that course.
Right.
And now those two are saved, and then you'll continue adding on like your math course or your history course and your any electives and art classes you took, and you'll add those all here until you finish that. And then let's say these are the only courses I took this year. I will just go back to summary.
Yeah. Mrs. Jensen, I would ask just a quick question. Do you have an example? Is there a course that students take in a quarter?
No.
No. Okay.
We don't have any quarter courses.
Okay, great.
All right, so back to summary. And do I wish to continue by exiting? I will say okay. And so now I'm back at the page I was at before. I have my GPA. I have my entered coursework that I just entered for freshman year. And I can continue on through sophomore, junior, and senior year. So for senior year, do I, since I am a senior now and I don't have my grades finalized, is there something special I do for those? Should I do an example?
There sure is. Let's do an example. I think that's a great idea. We'll just do
Okay.
one.
So enter coursework for this would be my senior year. And again, I did not receive an annual GPA for this year. These courses are going to be the courses I take in 12th grade. And you're going to go down again to add new coursework. So the subject, let's say math, and the course is, I'm taking calculus. So it would be calculus 1AB on the transcript, or whatever the exact name on the transcript is, and then the course level would be an advanced placement class. Again, is this block scheduled?
And it is offered just in one block, correct? It's not a full year course.
Yeah, it's just one block.
Right. So indicate if you're taking that first block, then this is where we'll put the grade in. And you're going to list this. If you go back in, because you have not, so anything for your senior year, and usually what I advise is even if you have a quarter grade, don't list it. Go back up to the very top, and I list all senior year grades unless you've already graduated. If you've already graduated and you're applying after graduation, then you will put in whatever your final grade was for the course. But for most students who are applying during their senior year, I would list everything as in progress.
Okay. And does Penn State take, so I know our quarters end like January 21st, around that date every year. So does Penn State take applications after January 21st?
We do. We'll take applications right up to about the 1st of August.
Oh, okay. So if I applied after, if I'm applying in like, let's say March, and I've already had all my first semester grades, those are in their final, because at Fairview we do like the first block and then you get your finals and then you take your next classes. Would I put in those grades, or do I still put those as in progress?
You could really do it either way. I think in progress works just fine. It creates a little bit less confusion. We will be looking at, if a student applies before they have graduated from high school, we will be looking at any coursework, any high school coursework from middle school through 9th through 11th in terms of your GPA. So the senior year, we're really not looking at as we evaluate students for admission in terms of GPA. So we're going to look at that coursework, grades 9 through 11, plus anything you may have taken in middle school. We want to see your senior year schedule so we know what you have in progress, so that we can add that to your subject total count. But we're not going to look at your grades in your senior year in our evaluation process. We will look at them. If you decide to come to Penn State, Fairview will submit on your behalf a final transcript. And we're going to go through and we're going to actually do a spot check on your transcript just to make sure that things look like they line up, that you've provided us with correct information. We're not going to scrutinize that, but if you told us that you earned a 57 in Algebra 1 and you really had a 52, we're going to pick up on that. And we don't find too many of those types of issues. And the other thing is, when you apply, we're also doing a spot check of your self-reported academic record. So if we see any, apparent confusion, that sort of thing, we may send you an email and say, hey, we're going to reopen your SRAR. We want you to go into My Penn State, and there's some corrections that need to be made. Along the way, at any point, I am always happy to work with you. In a typical year, I'm at Fairview pretty frequently. A couple of times in the fall, I will meet with students typically in the computer lab and just walk through these types of questions. Now that we're using Zoom a little more regularly, I'm also finding that that's a great opportunity. If a student has a question, they can make a Zoom appointment with me and share their screen, and I'm happy to walk through these questions.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay. So now that I
say, yeah, you're in progress, you want to make sure that you have the correct credit count. There you go.
Yes. Okay. So then I will save that course, and I will do that for each of my classes that I am taking in 12th grade. So what if I am going to be taking film studies at the end of my second semester senior year, but then in January I'm like, well, I kind of really want to take baking basics or something, like change up my schedule a little bit. So will that affect me in any way because I've already submitted my application and you see that I'm taking these classes? Or
that's a wonderful question. So the answer is it depends. So if you are adding a course, so for instance, Penn State requires 2 years of world language. If you're a student who completed 1 year of Spanish earlier in their high school career, but you don't have a second unit of Spanish on your schedule at the time you apply, and you suddenly think, oh my goodness, I need that second unit of Spanish, and you add it in for your second block, it's important for me to know that. Send us an email, let us know that. We'll update it so that it shows that you are you've added that to your schedule. Now, if you're making a change with something like you've shifted from entrepreneurship to culinary arts, whatever the course may be, yeah, less of an issue. But if you have any questions, feel free to send us an email. We'll add it to your record so that we have that on file. And so there's not a question about that.
wonderful. All right. So then, so now I am gonna pretend that I am done with my SRAR, and I'm gonna go back to where I initially am. So let's say I have all of my things in. Do I click review/submit?
Correct.
Okay. And then once I click that, I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I'm going to check all of these things, and then I'm going to hit submit.
Yeah, I think for the purposes of what we're doing today, I'm not going to have you do that. We're going to see if we can get that. Okay. So if it was absolutely complete and everything was good to go, yes, you'll hit submit. Okay. And I think for what we're doing today, I have to think about how we get you back into your regular application. I think if you go to home, we're still in.
I can re-log in if you want. Like I can go to a different tab.
Have you re-log in. So this also brings about a question. So if you were to hit submit there, it's important to remember you have not completed your Penn State application. You have just completed your self-reported academic record. You need to go back into My Penn State and click on apply again to finish the application itself. And I do sometimes see students who think they've completed the application when they submit the self-reported. It's important to go back and finish up the rest of the application.
Okay, so I'm going to share this tab instead. So now are we back on My Penn State?
We are back on My Penn State application, right. So you'll click down below, continue your application.
Oh, I just went directly.
You can do either way. Yep.
Okay.